When you think about it, Canelo and Floyd Mayweather are more alike than we think they are. And it almost seemed like Canelo is mimicking Floyd Mayweather's map to success or to, you know, fame and fortune, and I'll give you the similarities. After Shane Mosley got badly beaten by Floyd Mayweather, Canelo started to mimic Floyd. He tried to be more defensive, responsible. He tried to copy certain things that Floyd would do on defense, but he can't do it quite like Floyd. Canelo is a little bit more offensive minded than Floyd, but Canelo does like the counter punch a lot. But Canelo can be offensive minded when he wants to, depending on who the opponent is. So, Canelo has played it safe. And keep in mind, Canelo said something that was very interesting. And this is where the similarities to Floyd you kind of can make a comparison. Canelo did say he didn't feel comfortable or he can't see himself fighting any Latino or Hispanic fighters. And he stayed true to that word, because I cannot remember the last Hispanic fighter that he fought. And I think it was Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Maybe. I'll have to look at his box rec. But he stayed true to that, because if you look at his opponent selection, they've either been primarily European white, and then maybe a white American in Caleb Plant, and then maybe a black fighter and Daniel Jacobs. So he stayed true to his word, which to a certain degree, I always had a problem with that, because you looking at what happened with Floyd Mayweather. Now, keep in mind, Floyd Mayweather was accused by not only certain people in the media, he was accused by boxers and trainers for not fighting black fighters in their prime. And that's something that has stayed with Floyd. And you have to question, well, would Floyd still be undefeated had he fought some of these fighters in their prime? At the end of the day, you still would have to favor Floyd against pretty much all of them. Floyd was good at finding a way to win. Nobody was better at making adjustments than Floyd Mayweather. It is what it is. Now I know people going to say, but what about Sugar Shane Mosley? And what about Miguel Cotto? Well, Miguel Cotto is more Latino than he is black. And, that's very, that's very fuzzy at the very least. And then you look at Sugar Shane Mosley. Sugar Shane Mosley still had, some gas in his tank. But let's face the fact, that wasn't Sugar Shane Mosley at his best. Sugar Shane Mosley's best years was behind him, but he still gave Floyd for 2.5 rounds all he can handle, and then pretty much afterward, then Floyd did what he did best. Basically, he just take over the fight and dominate. So there are some similarities. Now, Floyd never flat out said that I'm not fighting any black fighters, but you looked at the path he went. I mean, that's a question mark circling Floyd. And this is why a lot of people question Floyd's, where he should be ranked as far as all-time greats. When you compare him to Muhammad Ali and other guys like that. So him and Canelo got some similarities, because if you look at Canelo has been very selective about who he's fought. Let's not make it look like Canelo has fought the best guys in every division. Okay. We all know at light heavyweight 3 years ago, Arthur Beterbiev was by far the best light heavyweight. and Canelo wanted no parts of him. And it looked like Canelo still don't want any parts of him. Now, Arthur Beterbiev is in his late 30s. So you never know. Canelo may look at Arthur Beterbiev one more time in the ring. Then if Arthur Beterbiev looks more vulnerable, then Canelo may sign the contract. But Arthur Beterbiev, until that fight is over, until you either defeat Arthur Beterbiev or or knock him out, all it takes for him is a couple of punches and he could turn that fight around. And I'm going to tell you right now, he is a serious threat to Canelo, because eventually he will land something on Canelo. And you have to wonder how Canelo would adjust to being hit by somebody like him. Okay? So I'm just keeping it a buck. But yeah, you look at the similarities. Canelo isn't fighting the best dude in each division. Okay? He fought Caleb Plant instead of fighting David Beterbiev. David Beterbiev should be considered probably the best dude at super middleweight, not named Canelo. He didn't want to fight David Beterbiev when he had the title, but after David Beterbiev was stripped of his title, then he asked for an eliminator bout. And he got it, got that belt, and then he went and fought Caleb Plant. And Caleb Plant in that fight showed some vulnerabilities. And at the end of the day, I know some people don't want to hear it, but I was watching that fight and I thought Caleb Plant was doing very well until the stoppage. But hey, it happened. Canelo got he got the W. But you have to a certain degree, you have to put an asterisk around his undisputed, because he didn't fight the champion for the belt. But, it is what it is. I know some people going to get mad, which I don't give a damn, but I'm still going to say what I need to say. And like I said, you look at Floyd. Floyd fought great guys, but then sometimes you have to wonder, was Floyd fighting the best guys out there? Because Floyd, like I said, was very selective about who he picked to fight. And like I said, he fought great competition. You can't take that away from Floyd. Nobody has beaten more legitimate former champions than Floyd Mayweather. But you just wondering, the issue that some people may have with Floyd is that, damn, at the very least, why didn't you give a brother a shot? Instead of always fighting those Hispanics. And now you look at Canelo. You looking at Canelo kind of doing the same thing. Not fighting a lot of Hispanic fighters. Because you hearing, even if he goes up to light heavyweight, he may fight the winner of Joe Smith Jr., if I'm not mistaken, who has a fight coming up, if not this week, next week. So like I said before, there is a lot of similarities in Floyd and Canelo. I really think Canelo is following the path of Floyd Mayweather. So, like I said, some people ain't going to like this video. Some people going to be like, well, Town got a point, But as I said before, keep the comment section respectful. Don't disrespect me. Don't call me out my name. Because if you do, I'm going to call you out your name. Like I said, it's okay to disagree with me, but don't fucking disrespect me. Have at it in the comment section. This your boy Town Biz. I'm out.